Good information. Thanks, Clayton. In the summer of 1992, brief but heavy rainfall hit Capitol Reef National Park. This home video shows how a flash flood turned a normally small and mellow stream into a raging torrent. The flash flood stranded about 50 cars and buried State Road 24 under mud, boulders, trees, and debris. In a 5-day period in September 1982, monsoonal moisture from a tropical storm dropped 4 to 6 inches of rain on the Wasatch Front. Mudslides and flash floods closed roads, flooded hundreds of homes, and many rivers and streams overflowed. Our flash flood expert today is Bill Alder, meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City.
Flash floods can be very destructive. In the past, they've killed people in Utah and caused extensive property damage. Since 1950, 25 people have perished in flash floods in Utah.
In June 1965 in Sheep Creek, a tremendous amount of water came down Sheep Creek Canyon, and 7 people perished, and they didn't have a chance. Flash flood basically is just what the term means, flashy. In other words, it's a result of heavy rain. The heavy rain may not be right in that area. And a lot of times in southern Utah where you have the slick rock, slot canyons, those kind of areas, water can rise very rapidly. Flash floods are basically a result of heavy rain, say a half-inch or inch of rain in maybe a 10, 20, 30-minute period of time. Areas prone to flash flooding is in southern Utah, especially the parks, Capitol Reef, Zion National Park, any of the Canyonlands area, and Lake Powell area.
Dissemination of flash flood warnings are one of our major problems. In many remote areas of the state, the parks, the slot canyons, we cannot receive our no-weather radio broadcasts.
The National Weather Service puts out either flash flood watch or flash flood warning. Looking at the sky starts to darken, you start to see lightning, you see maybe even a microburst come out of a thunderstorm that is a ways away, and most likely if that's happening, you're probably going to get some heavy rain. When you're camping in the parks where there's either moving water, a stream, or even a dry wash, be alert if there's rain in the area that this stream could rise very rapidly, so don't get too close. Never try to cross water, especially moving or even still water, if you don't know how deep it is, because a lot of times people do perish in cars. 6 inches of water, if it gets any deeper, you probably don't have much of a chance, especially if there's rocks and debris and trees in it in the flash flood. So basically try to stay on top, try to get to an area where you can climb out, in other words, and climb out as soon as you can.
Tornadoes, lightning, and flash floods are not the only weather phenomena that cause death and injuries here in Utah. Severe winter storms have killed at least 24 people in Utah since 1950. News 4 Utah meteorologist Curtis Gertz has the facts and safety tips on this weather killer.
Winter storms can be very dangerous and they have to be taken seriously.
When it looks like a severe winter storm is imminent, the National Weather Service will issue a winter storm warning. This means that you can expect heavy snow and other severe winter weather elements such as blowing and drifting snow. These can reduce visibility and cause roads to become slippery, blocked, or impassable. When strong winter storms are forecast, be prepared because you never know what can happen. First of all, make sure your vehicle is in good shape, something that won't let you down in the middle of nowhere. Try to keep a full tank of gas. This can be tough if you're on a tight budget, but it's very important. If you run out of gas during a winter storm, how will you stay warm without your car's heater? Think about it. If a winter storm is forecast and you must travel, try to do so during the day and make sure you share your travel plans with someone. Also, have a winter survival kit in your car. This should include a shovel, jumper cables, a candle and metal can to melt snow for drinking water, energy bars, and some extra clothing or a sleeping bag.
If a winter storm strands you in your car, there are a few things you can do to increase your chances of survival.
Stay with your car until the storm is over. It is very easy to get lost just a few yards from your car if blizzard conditions develop. Use your cell phone if you have one to call 911. Make sure you crack a downwind window to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Also, hang a piece of bright cloth from your car's radio antenna.
These simple steps in a winter survival kit could save your life.
Thanks, Curtis. And because winter storms deposit so much snow in the mountains, avalanches have killed more people in Utah than tornadoes, lightning, flash floods, or blizzards. In 1986, two teenage backcountry snowboarders triggered an avalanche up Big Cottonwood Canyon near Guardsman Pass. It killed one and injured the other.
Down under us just started moving. It's right where we were, like an escalator. It just starts rolling, and it got faster and faster so quickly, and there's nothing you can do. And I started yelling for Brad. I tried to grab a tree that was coming up. They're just so powerful. All I could, I couldn't hear anything except just thunder, and I could just feel trees and bouncing off rocks. You're totally at its mercy. We kind of always thought we could just, outrun it or just stay on top of it, dig ourselves out, but it's not that way at all. You just gotta, not take things for granted, and you gotta think that it always happens to the other guy, because that's what I thought. It still amazes me that I stayed on top, because there's nothing you can do, I just say.
Do you think you'll ever get over this?
Yeah. It'll take a while, though.
That happened in the backcountry, out of bounds from the regular ski area. Now, to keep the ski areas safe, experts at the ski resorts trigger avalanches with explosives each morning after a big snowfall, before the skiers show up. Now, sometimes runs are delayed in opening because the snow is just too unsettled, and extra work is required to make them safe for skiers. But it's in the backcountry, out of bounds, that you have to be very careful, because out there, there's no control, zero. You have to be the avalanche expert, because there's no one else. Avalanches usually occur when heavy snowfall accumulates on an unstable or slick snowpack, and usually on a slope between 35 and 40 degrees. Deep powder is pretty, it's definitely fun, but please remember, in the outback, it can kill.
He said, bag the avalanche, basically. I'm going to do it, because it's an excellent face. Steep, a lot of powder. It's excellent, but, you have to have common sense.
Since 1950, there has been a steady increase in the number of avalanche deaths. This is probably a result of more skiing, snowboarding, and snowmobiling in the backcountry. Tom Kimbrough is an avalanche expert with the U.S. Forest Service. He knows Utah's backcountry like the back of his hand, and he has some advice that could save your life.
95% of the victims trigger the avalanche themselves. This means that through avalanche education and awareness, most of these accidents can be prevented. The best way to survive avalanches is to stay out of them in the first place. If you are caught in an avalanche, however, there may be a few things you can do. Your first job is to try to get out of the moving snow. You may be able to get off to one side, you may be able to grab a tree or a rock. If you are carried down in the moving snow, try to swim. If you can stay high in the moving debris, your chances of survival will be better. As the avalanche comes to a stop, try to get a hand to the surface. If you can, try to clear snow away from your face. Once the avalanche stops, you may not be able to move, and your survival will depend entirely on the people that are with you. Avalanche debris is not light and fluffy. It often sets up nearly as hard as cement when the avalanche stops. If a victim is buried more than a few feet beneath the surface of the snow, the weight of the debris may compress their chest, forcing the air out of their lungs. It's then impossible to expand their lungs, and they may not be able to breathe at all. If your partner is caught in a backcountry avalanche, outside help will not arrive in time to do the victim any good. You need to be prepared to perform your own avalanche rescue. Try to remember where the victim was last seen. Look for clues on the snow like hats, gloves, ski poles. If you travel in avalanche terrain in the backcountry, be prepared with an avalanche beacon and a rescue shovel. The beacon sends a signal that can be picked up by another receiver. This enables a rescuer to find a buried victim quickly, provided the techniques have been sufficiently practiced. The shovel is then necessary to dig rapidly enough through the hardened avalanche debris to have a chance of reaching the victim in time to save his life. Avalanches often travel extremely rapidly. Even the slowest ones move perhaps 40 miles an hour, and the fastest ones may be over 100 miles an hour. This means that avalanche victims are often killed by trauma from hitting rocks and trees in the path of the avalanche, even before it stops. We recommend that people take a 1 to 3 day avalanche education course that actually gets them out on the snow so that they can learn terrain and snowpack features that contribute to avalanche activity. The Avalanche Advisory, issued each day during the winter, provides up-to-date avalanche information on current conditions.
So there you have it, 5 of Utah's most severe weather phenomena, all of which can be very destructive and deadly. So how do you know when these weather conditions are going to occur? The National Weather Service is in the business of issuing watches and warnings. When the weather gets rough, they send out advisories to local radio and television stations for immediate broadcast. When the National Weather Service issues a watch for a particular weather event, it means that severe weather is possible. A warning means that severe weather is already occurring or will begin soon. If you hear that a warning is in effect, you need to take immediate action to protect your life and property. For more information on National Weather Service watches and warnings, the latest national weather forecast for your area, as well as facts and figures about Utah's weather and climate, please go to our website at www.forutah.com. Finally, let's quickly review our survival rules. Tornadoes. Go to the basement or a bathroom. Don't seek shelter in a mobile home or car. If you're caught in the open, find a low spot and lay down. Lightning. Stay away from isolated trees and open water. Don't stand on a hilltop or open field. Get into a building or a car. Flash floods. In threatening weather, avoid low-lying spots. Don't cross high-flowing water. If your vehicle stalls, abandon it immediately. Winter storms. Winterize your vehicle and stock it with essentials and a full tank of gas. Avalanches. If you're caught in one, try to swim to the top. Get rid of your poles, skis, and snowboard. When you come to a stop, thrust your hand upward. If your buddy is caught in one, don't go for help. You are the help. You know, it's the variety of weather and terrain in Utah that make it such a great place to live and play. But you wait 5 minutes or drive 5 miles and the weather is sure to change. Now, we don't want you to be scared. We just want you to be prepared. So go out there and have a good time.